Still on my fantasy playlist of March 18th, 1983, but I want to get into, since we're in the top 10, which is very familiar songs, I like to get into those Lost 45s. So I'm going to go to Billboard's Hot 100 of March 19th, 1983, about the same week as this fantasy playlist, and pick out a Lost 45 that did not make top 40. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to do this. I'm hoping I'm not going to run into any copyright problems with this, but let's go to Billboard's Hot 100. Some of the songs that I got on my fantasy playlist, they're on this Hot 100. We got Photographed by Def Leppard at number 77, once again, March 19th, 1983, and Desperate But Not Serious, talked about that one earlier, by Adamant. That's at number 5, up from number 86. But the song I want to talk to you about, Missing Persons, Walking in L.A. at number 76, up 7 from 83 the previous week. Fell far short of the top 40, but one of those distinguished new wave bands back in the early 80s, Missing Persons. The members of this band Some of the members of this band had worked with Frank Zappa in the late 70s. That would include the lead singer, Dale Bozzio, and Terry Bozzio. I believe I pronounced their last names right. Hopefully I did. Boccio. And they met while they were working with Frank Zappa. And they met another guy. His name was Warren Cocurulo. Probably mangled his last name. I got the pronunciation online on YouTube, but I still couldn't get it. Cucurullo, I believe is how you pronounce it. And they were working on Frank Zappa's 1979 album called Joe's Garage. And Dale and Terry, they got married 1979, and they split up in 1986, around 1986. Well, they got a deal well, they became Missing Persons. They added a couple of members, became Missing Persons, signed with Capitol Records in 1982, and released the album Spring Sessions M, which featured Words. Remember Words from 1982? And there was Destination Unknown, which went to number 42 on Billboard's Hot 100. And then they came out with Walking in L.A., which is on Billboard's Hot 100. Missing Persons. Warren Cocurulo later joined Duran Duran. He replaced guitarist Andy Taylor. In 1986, he played on a couple of Duran Duran's albums. Well, he played on Notorious by Duran Duran and Big Thing, which came out in 1988 by Duran Duran. The album, Spring Sessions M by Missing Persons, produced by Ken Scott. I gotta read up more about this guy. He was a big producer. He worked with the Beatles. Ken Scott did back in the late 60s. He was an engineer working alongside George Martin on some of the sessions by the Beatles. He worked on Lady Madonna, Hey Jude, and he engineered. He recorded the strings, the brass, and the choir. And the choir on I Am the Walrus, the absolutely brilliant, the genius, if surreal, I Am the Walrus, John Lennon's record by the Beatles. Released as a single here in 1968, but did not make top 40, of course. A little bit too electric, I guess. But still, he was on that record as an engineer. Ken Scott producing this album, producing this record, coming in at number 76 on Billboard's Hot 100, March 19th, 1983, Walking in L.A. by Missing Persons.